Definitely, and then I think your first full season here was in '92, and you drove for the Roebucks, and you hooked up with them, and I think you were fourth in points. And one of the incredible statistics about Skip is he has driven 18 full years here at Knoxville, and he's finished in the top 15 out of those 18 years, which is really incredible and something that I don't know has been matched in that period of time. Talk about how you got hooked up with the Roebucks at that point in time, because that's probably a loaded question, but we'll ask you.
Well, I see lots of familiar faces here from them days, so they're the ones that are laughing the most. Basically, it started in '91 when I come here, because there was a combination of Barry Lewis and Sid Moore. Max Dumsey, we come across here to race, and Melinda raced here a little bit, and a lot of things happened. But between Sid Moore and Barry Lewis, they were the ones that actually got me here. After a month, the first 4 weeks we were here, we went absolutely terrible. And Barry had enough, and he was heading home. That was it. And Brazier was going to buy the car, and that was it. And so I had no idea what I was going to do. So Max went away racing up to Chicago, so I went with him. And one night, Max said, "Hey, if I get you a ride, will you buy me dinner?" I said, "Sure." And whatever happened with Barry and Brazier, the deal fell apart, and Barry said, "Okay, we'll go for another couple of weeks and see what happens." So went for another week, and it went a little bit better, and the next week went a little bit better. Then by nationals time, we were going really good, and that was kind of the stepping stone which took me into the Roebuck deal.
Then I know you went back home after that. How much did running here help you back home? Because you won the championship at what was then Parramatta City Raceway. I don't know what all the sponsors are now, but at Parramatta near Sydney, Australia. And talk about how coming over here and running really helped you going back.
That was huge. But coming to when I came here the first year, the year after that, I went back and drove for Bob Blacklaw and Rob Worthington. Blacklaw had the car, which was a streak in that ladder, and Rob, he put a motor together, and that was a really good combination. Actually, that year was the only race that I thought I was going to win, and didn't win. Unfortunately, in the Australian title that year, which would have been huge for Rob and Bob and myself at that time. We started 7th or 8th, I think, and we got up to 3rd, and halfway through the race, I found a line on the track that was different to both Gary and Max, who I'd run down. Then the muffler fell off, and a yellow came out, and I got disqualified, so all was fair. But by coming over here and racing, it just gives you a lot more confidence, and the more you do stuff, the better off you're always going to be.
Definitely. And then '94 is when you got your first win here, and talk about that, because you had been at it for a few seasons and you finally got it.
Yeah, that was huge, because I won a few races in Australia, and it was my 3rd year with Dwayne and Roebucks and everybody. And for them, it was their first win ever too, so it was huge for everybody. And it was a twin features night. I started in the front row, and we led, back then it was twin 16s, and I led all 16 laps, so I was good. Everybody was very proud that night, so very happy for everybody.
And you got in with, I think the following season with Van der Ecken in the number 10 car, and but back home you raced for your brother Paul, and you started a relationship with him that still goes on.
Yeah, after the first year at Blacklaw, I drove 2 seasons with the Bronny Linigan family, and we won a championship at Parramatta, which was my first ever championship, which was a great yardstick for everybody, because Rob Worthington once again helped me with the motor and Linigan's car and everything, so it worked out pretty good. And then me and my brother Paul, who was he was starting to get more involved in what was happening on the promotional side of things, and Sid Moore, we give us a car to use, and me and Paul got the motor, and we kind of made the whole deal work. And the first year we started off slow, but by the end of the year we got running really good.
And then the following year you won another championship, I think, over there.
The very next year, I think it was the first year I was with Van der Ecken, we went back to Australia with a Jenkins car that Sid Moore got for us, and we had an amazing year. It was one of them years where you could do no wrong. Even when we went out of state to Warrnambool and places, we went very, very good there too. So that's a really good deal.
And then back home, you ran the World Series for the first full year, which is the equivalent of our World of Outlaws series here, the World Series Sprint Cars, and you ended up winning the championship. I think you ripped off 3 in a row starting that year. I mean, the first year you ran the full series, you won it. So 3 years in a row you did that. And while you were doing that there, you were winning a couple of championships here at Knoxville too in the 55.
Yeah, I drove for Van Reckens for nearly 2 years, and it was a tough decision leaving, especially at the time I did, and it was kind of ruthless too. It's not really, but at the same time it worked out good, and it kind of set myself in a lot of momentum as far as winning races and being successful. Things were, for a couple of years there, it felt like I could do no wrong. I had some great support from my family, my friends, some good sponsors that encouraged what I had to do, and then at home things were really good too, and everything was falling into place nicely.
Now I think you won 2 in a row here, and then I think McCarl won his first one, and you finished second that in '99, I believe. Yeah. So the next year, you go out and you run with the Pennsylvania Posse. Now there's people in South Dakota complaining that you don't go up to Huset's, and then you go out and race in Pennsylvania for a whole year. So what was the decision making behind that? I know you hooked up with the Keens out there and Keen Transport and drove their car.
I started off with a Zemco car, and it was one of them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of them situations where if anything could go wrong, it did go wrong. I raced that car for 25 times. We did win a race at Port Royal. And we nearly won a couple of races at Williams Grove, but it always seems like one night I led for a long time, then the sideboard of the wing fell off, and another night I was running real good and the torsion stop broke, and another night I was running good and an oil line blew off, and there's a big fire on the cover of open wheel, so that's made it so I don't much like fires anymore.
That was the low light, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's just kind of a situation where if anything. And plus, I made some mistakes. They made some mistakes, and they'd come off such a fantastic year the year before with Kevin Gobrick and Jeff Shepard. They wanted to do something different pretty quick, and it's funny where one door closed. That Sean Keane was right around the corner calling me saying, "Hey, come down and talk to us," and it worked out really good. I ran 50 races for Sean that year, and it was worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I think you finished in the top 10 at the Grove, at the Port, and in Sealands Grove too. So you got plenty of racing in.
Yeah, I drove Sean's car for 50 races, I think, and I think we ended up third in the points at Port Royal, and 9th or 10th at Williams Grove. But we also missed I was off for a month when I tried to knock the fence at Williams Grove, which didn't help.
Right, a lot of guys have tried to do that, I think, out there.
Yeah.
So talk about your decision first of all, though. What made your decision to go out to Pennsylvania? Did you just get a call from the Zemco team, or what?
When you get, I guess a little bit of ambition more than anything. You hear of the same reason I wanted to come here and race here at Knoxville. You always hear of Williams Grove and how much tougher to race and better the racing is out in Pennsylvania. And whenever you get going good, you always want to do more. And here I was racing, I think it's 45 times a year, and out there you could race 90 times a year. So I thought everything was going to be bigger and better, but bigger isn't necessarily better.
Not always. You found that out. One other question about that year. Tell us exactly what your car weighed here at the Nationals when you brought it back, the 53.
I got no idea.
I heard a lot of conflicting reports. Maybe somebody in the crowd can let us know. But
I got no idea.
It was close. It was close to 1,000 pounds, I think.
Really?
I
didn't think it was anything.
Right. Nobody told you because they did that without the driver. So
okay. I didn't realize there was anything that special. Sorry.
We won't talk about what happened. I mean, you did set down a fast lap, though.
Yeah, we qualified second that night. So as an attribute to, we got a new shaver motor a week before that, and Ron's motor's always run good here. So I was very blessed to have a good motor. And after that, things didn't work out so great, but we did qualify good.
Sometimes you get caught up in the heat race stuff. And that's what happened.